What up? This your boy, Mr. ColliPark, and you're tuned in to Day One Radio.
The business.
Welcome back to another episode, another installment of Day One Radio, right here on ablradio.com. That's Art, Beats, and Lyrics Radio to be exact. Make sure you download the very free, very accessible smartphone app for your iPhone and Android devices. And also make sure you check out the Day One Radio archive at day1radio.com and look us up in the iTunes podcast as well. My name is Maurice Garland. I'm one of your co-hosts, and to my right I have...
the world-famous BP, Brandon LSK. What's going on, brother?
Everything cool, man. We've got a very special guest in the building, man.
Yes, sir, man. It's funny, man. You know, we're in Atlanta, and people always attach certain names to the legacy of Atlanta coming up in the music businesses. You know, the LAs, the Babyfaces, Jermaine Dupri, Lil Jon. But a name that they often seem to leave out that's got some of the biggest hits in the history of this city, you know, unless the history of music, the one and only Mr. ColliPark, a.k.a. DJ Smurf. What's good, brother?
Man, I'm chilling, man. It's an honor to be here, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, you know, like it's a difference. You can tell who's who in the city depending on what they call him. Cause like when I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago, I was like, damn, I got Smurf saved in my phone. I ain't got ColliPark. You know, that's how I know that I know you, goddamn.
Right. That's right. That's what I tell people. Like what you want to call? What you want me to call you? I be like, call me what you know me by. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you met me as Smurf, call me a Smurf. Yeah. You know, the ColliPark thing, that's more of a business thing. Smurf is a term of endearment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is.
For sure, man. I mean, for anybody that does not know, man, I mean, let's go to the beginning, man. It's like I first heard of DJ Smurf growing up in Decatur. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Getting those J-Team tapes back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, you know, I remember like the store used to be on Counter Road.
Right.
I think there was, what was that store next to it? Sunshine or Richway?
I don't know. I just remember the flea market at the end.
Yeah.
In the plaza. I don't know if it was there when we first moved in there, but I know it.
You know how y'all are. Yeah. He a South Side dude. You an East Side dude. You know so that. I
can't. You know what? I was so back. You know, notwithstanding it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But that was all I went over there for. Like, I was so excited to be a part of the J-Team, you know, and we used to catch the bus over there, you know what I'm saying? And so when we got there, we worked, and then we left, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that's kind of how it went. So I remember the shop, but I don't remember in the KFC right there in the front. You know what I'm saying? Because that was all we got.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Just lunch. Jay wasn't balling like that.
And for those who are not up on their Southern hip hop history, you got to explain what the J-Team is and what it meant.
Well, shit, you do the honors for that.
You know what? I'm gonna let you do that because you was on the East. I kind of came over.
Okay.
You know, you grew up there. So
I mean, it's like I was going to bring this up later on in the conversation, man. It's like, you know, we have so many DJ crews in Atlanta now. We got Coalition. You used to have the affiliates who are now the Academy. You got, you know, all these DJ crews. Super Friends used to be here, but it's like the first DJ crew I remember out of Atlanta was the J-Team. It was created by King Edward J, owner of King Edward J Records and Tapes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if y'all saw the ATL documentary, they had him in there, you know what I'm saying, which was a good look. It's like, you know, he's another person that always kind of get left out of like the Atlanta music history. You know what I'm saying? But that was like, they were the first big DJ crew that I remember. Then, of course, you know, like, we're going to talk about the whole Oomp Camp thing later on. Right. You know what I'm saying? But no, the J-Team, man, Smurf, Kizzy Rock, who else was in it, man?
It was DJ Lynn, Lady DJ, later on Player Puncho. You had was Bonet a part of it? Bonet, Lazy Rock, Professor Lazy Rock. You had Dangerous D. You had that was basically the T-Bone. A lot of cats y'all might not know about. You had Erica D. You had China. What Wow, did I say Lazy Rock? And the guy who actually introduced me to Jay, D-Mos Def, he actually went to my school, but his dad lived in Decatur, and they went to the same church. So Edward J was a deacon at the church, and so that's what I had heard his tapes. But when he told me he was a deacon at the church, I was like, wow,
Right.
So that was how I met Edward J, because my MC at the time, we went to Fairwood, Banneker High School, but Fairwood was Banneker before it was Banneker.
Right.
He would come back and say, yo, Edward J go to my church. So I was already DJing, but I was like dope, but I was in my mom's basement.
Right.
So that's when I met Jay, that was the coming out of what I was doing.
Like, what was it like back then, man? Because I mean, like you said, like, with DJ crews now, it's like it's so much like branding in the DJ crew. Not the talent,
man. See,
that
and that's why you don't hear my name called, because I ain't with the hype. I'm not with the talk. I'm with the numbers and what I do. You know what I'm saying? I do music. So a lot of this stuff that's going on now has nothing to do with music. And so I don't know how to be involved with that, because I'm too old to act like I'm 25 and run around here like fake like I'm dating somebody and doing all that stuff and popping bottles and all, like that's just never been me, because I came into it like real. You know what I'm saying? And we were dope. We were actually dope. So we didn't have to do all that extra stuff to stand out. You know what I'm saying? So now it's the exact opposite now. So, that's just what it is.
Like, at the time that you were DJing, with the J Team, it's like, was there any chips on the shoulder? Because like a lot of times, like when you hear folks like Rico Wade talk, it's like,
I
man,
still wear one on my shoulder. Hell yeah.
So there was like we from Atlanta and we know how to DJ just as good as anybody else type chip on the shoulder? Or?
Well, it was just, for me anyway, it wasn't an Atlanta thing, because Atlanta wasn't owned per se. Yeah. In the grand scheme of hip hop. It was just like some neighborhood shit. It's like I just wanted to be better than the next man. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't but a few. See, ColliPark didn't really have people who were actually in the music, because you got to understand, it was such an early time that the DJs who were popping weren't popular per se. Not when you consider what's popular now. So it was kind of like some neighborhood shit. So like when I discovered Toomp, or when I discovered DJ Swift C, who DJs for 112 now, who had D-Rock, who was had one of the first records on wax from somebody who I know. That hoorah, this motherfucker, D-Rock. That was like one of the first artists that I personally knew. He was actually dope. You know what I'm saying? And so it was him. It was DJ Dana. And these are the DJs that I knew. Even Coolie C. Coolie C showed me how to work the drum machine. Wow. You know what I'm saying? He didn't show me all the way, because Coolie C was running like a trap house with them beats over there. You go over there, and that's how I met the Hard Boys, and and that's probably, skipping to another thing real quick, that's probably why I like Kane from Ying Yang so much, because he came up under the Hard Boys, and I didn't know that at the time. Wow. But you still hear that in his flow to this day. But Coolie C, Swift, DJ Swift C, not DJ Swift, who DJs for Outkast. Right. I'm talking about DJ Swift C from Martell Homes. He had one of the first pair of 1200s, because we couldn't afford that shit back then. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the cats that I looked up to, and that showed me, a lot of the stuff that the foundation of what I knew. So it was real. It was just like any true hip hop story. Like when you watch Straight Outta Compton, the first scene with Dre laying on the floor with the headphones. I think anybody who's real in this game got those kinds of stories. Right. You know what I'm saying? I definitely have those kinds of stories, and just coming up under cats who really paved the way but never got just due. And I might be a part of that more so than anything else, because when I think of DJ Coolie C, and when I think of DJ Swift C and D-Rock and those guys like that, the Hard Boys, you know what I'm saying? They did so much for hip hop, but they never get mentioned.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, it seems like, you can compare Atlanta's music history almost to like the Bible in a sense. Like, You got BC and AD. And like for Atlanta, it's like before the face, after the face.
Yeah. You know what? And this is no disrespect, but that whole movement there, we looked at that because that wasn't our reality. Like Itchy Bun was our reality. You know what I'm saying? So those levels of record deals and the exposure, like I didn't know. I had never seen somebody just put a record out and you ain't never heard the record until it came on the radio. Or you saw the video on TV. That was cheating to me. You know, I would be mad when I saw that kind of shit because we had to get out here and really beat the pavement and grind. And so, you know, all the guys who like the Kilos and Kilo kind of got a major deal on down the line. But you know, even the Kilos, Raheem's, the Shadis, myself, Kizzy Rock, all us guys, like we really put in work. We didn't know what a budget was. Our budget included, I don't even want to tell you what my first Itchy Bun budget was.
Go ahead and share, man. I mean,
my first Itchy Bun budget, which included my advanced pocket money and recording the album, and whatever was left over, we split between myself, Shadi, and I had another rapper that was down with me at the time. Was $20,000. So that was out the door. Everything had to be done out of that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's when you had to record at a studio.
Right. 24 tracks. 20, you had to make that shit work. 24 tracks. And so these, you know, it wasn't a such thing as excess. You had to make do with the little bit that you were given. And that's what made, you know, to me, that's what was missing out of hip hop, because a lot of the styles that were birthed from the early days of hip hop came from the lack of having shit. Yeah. So you made do when I only had an SB12, when I learned how to put the record a sample and speed it up on dub on the tape deck and then slow it back down through, you know, in the drum machine,
right,
which gave my samples a sound of their own. That was my method of cheating the machine that I had. And everybody had their own methods of cheating. Now you got 1,000 tracks on a PC. Yeah. Like you don't even, if we had that back in the day, we probably would be whack too. My bad. I'm not hilarious. I'm not.
But now I feel you, because like we just had Brian Michael Cox in here, and he was saying something similar, like how, you know, when he was coming up, you know, he didn't have as many tools as the producers do today. And he's like, he sees what they're doing with all these tools. And he's like, how are you doing so little with so much? Like, I ought to be trying to do the impossible.
They probably didn't have what we have now in the average kid's home. They probably didn't have scoring movies back in the day.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? And so and I never thought of it the way you just said it. How can you have so much and you're doing so little with it? It's because can't nobody, you know what I find, like the producers in hip hop anyway, that really come from like some music, like they do stand out. Like Zay get on that keyboard. I ain't gonna say piano because, you know, we all got keyboards now. And he plays because he from the church. And you know, what's the other kid? London
on the track.
He you know, I never even met this cat, but when I hear certain tracks, I'm like, damn, he might have something going on with him. I remember the first time I met Zay, I had heard of him, but I was in Guitar Center, I think on North Druid Hills, and I heard the piano in the other room. And I said, who the hell is that playing that? And I walked around the corner, and it was Zay. You know what I'm saying? That's how we met personally. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have that now. And I think if more people who were actually interested in instrumentation and playing instruments and come from music got into the music business, then it would be a lot better off.
For sure.
Now, we jumping around a little bit, but you know, we talked about you being down with the J team. You went to Alabama A&M and started DJing out there, and because the other DJs was whack and doing your thing out there. That's what I've heard you say. I'm not saying they were whack. I don't know.
They was, to my standards, they were whack.
For sure.
I told you I had a chip on my shoulder.
Yeah, right. And you ended up dropping out after a while and coming back to Atlanta.
I left.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you left.
I left by choice. It was a calculated decision.
Got you.
It wasn't no fuck college. It was like I would rather do music than be here.
No doubt.
Right.
And a lot of people, people bring up the name MC Shy D, but people don't know that you produced a lot of his first record.
Well, it was the record. It's funny, the record that he did after Toomp left.
Right.
Because, Toomp was with Shy D before I was. And Toomp did probably one of Shy's biggest records, that Shake It song.
Yeah.
And so, I had some pretty big shoes to fill at that time. So, yeah, I came after that.
Right. So what was that experience like? Because, Alabama, especially pre-internet, Alabama and Atlanta is two completely and totally different worlds.
It was like a big unmanned candy store to a 5-year-old. I put it like that to put it nicely. Well, for me, let me start. I was never a college-minded cat before I actually went to college. Alabama A&M was actually the only college that I applied to simply because my brother was attending that school at the time. I was so far into my music that I wasn't even thinking past that. And so I went to Alabama A&M at the end of the year that I went. I won't put the year out there, but I went up there, and it was a huge culture shock for me in two ways. The whole college culture I knew nothing about. I didn't know a sorority from a fraternity. That's how little I planned on going to college. Like, for real. And so that was number one. And number two was the whole Alabama, Georgia, and not only Alabama, Georgia, New York, Detroit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot of cats from the Midwest up there. It was a lot of cats from the East Coast up there, and a lot of cats from other parts of the South that, my childhood was spent going from here to Orlando. I was born in Orlando, Florida. So my childhood was spent going from Atlanta, Orlando. That's what I knew. So I didn't even know. Like, when you saw the movies back in the day and they imitated how we sound in the South, they really make us look back, but they really talk like that.
So there's truth to this.
That shit's true. Alabama, Mississippi, and even when you go over to Louisiana with the Cajun, whatever they want to call that, the Creole, it's just different. Types of the shit, and I talk a different type of country from the people in Orlando, because when I would go back home to Orlando, they'd be like, "Damn, man, you country as hell now." And I'd be like, "What you talking about? Like, I'm talking like you." No, you country as hell now. So that all of that hit me, like, blindsided me, man. And on top of that, I was broke. So it was a lot of shit I had to work out my freshman year in college.
13th
on
grade.
top of them whack ass DJs.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
So you come back, you doing your production thing, and then you start doing your solo records. Now, a lot of people don't know that a lot of the songs they love are based off of records that you made in the past. To the window, to the wall,
which became homework.
A Ying record, and then the intro to Too Short's Bounce That Ass.
Oh wow!
Came from, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that, man. So, and this is my own culture shock. When I first came to the South to go to college, I had never heard a Booty Shake record in my life. Like, period. I came to a party. Okay, I done heard this before. I done heard that before. Then they do about an hour of records I ain't never. What the hell is this? Like, talk about just that era, because once I got accustomed to it, I've never partied like that before or after that period in time.
Right, and man, and that's why I have a problem with people not really standing up on that part of our musical culture, like calling it bullshit or not respecting it, because just like the hip hop culture started from throwing parties up north. It was a different kind of music, but shit was party music. You know what I'm saying? And so anybody who experienced the mid to early 90s when Booty Shake was booming, I don't give a damn. Pac was hot, Biggie was hot, all of them was hot, but none of them, when Scarred came on, or when Shake What Your Mama Gave You came on, whatever female you was with, you knew if you was fucking that night.
That's real.
So, and it's funny to me, I won't call names, but some of the artists that were hot making that music at the time, I could see, just because that's all I knew and that's all I ever wanted to make, you could see that they, once they got a little platform, they didn't want to make that music anymore. Like, they wanted to fit in with the quote unquote hip hop guys. And, but now, after you fall off, you see, damn, I really had it good when I was doing that. And now they try to attempt to come back and make that type of music when people don't care. Like, if you weren't true to it at that time. And I got a couple of artists that broke my heart that I'll never speak on publicly, just because, I got that much respect and love for them. But I just hate that part of, I've always stood up on our music.
Right.
Like the shit that they talk about. You know what I'm saying? I always stood up on it because I always put up numbers with mine. So when you go to talking your shit, I can talk just as much shit because I put up the same numbers. I put up better numbers than a lot of cats that make, the other type of music. And so, and I think the reason for that is because I believed in it. I wasn't doing it just to, okay, once I get on, I'm going to make this real shit. This was the real shit. And I put everything I had into those records. And when they come on, you get that.
Yo, Smurf, tell 'em how you drop that bass. I lower that shit, I drop it to the ground. Bass for the bitches, so bitches get down. And check out the sound. I shouldn't say the boom, cause the bass is like in there. If I raise the whole room, I got bass for the tricks, bass for the hoes, bass for the niggas rolling in the 6-4s. And I drop the shit low. How low can I go? Till your fucking woofers blow. Taking out 15s, taking out all drugs, picking on the little dins. What the hell the shit sells? With the back boom boom, the boom boom back. I know you like that, cause it's crazy fat. So nigga get up on it like you want it. And since you know they want it, go ahead and phone it. Rolling down the Ave or the boulevard, frontin' like it all late, cause your shit's hit hard. The Smurf came through with the bass down tape, with the hype that's lyrics that all the suckers hate, because I can't create and won't make it wait. And it's like fate, the suckers take the fake. Now I got them hooked on the shit that I do. I said the shit that I do, not the do brown. So check out the sounds that I lay down. Bitch, don't frown, just stick around, cause it gets thicker, the bass gets bigger. Taking out your speakers, making ass nigga, cause I get funky for a bitch. Smurf is in the house and I lower that shit. Yeah, for a bitch, I lower that shit. For a bitch, I lower that shit. Oh yeah, see bitch, I lower that shit. Yeah, check it out. Way down low, how low can you go?
Like, why do you think people deserted it, man? Because it seems like you're right. Like, when it comes to like Southern hip hop, specifically, but hip hop in general, folks kind of like they shit on dance music and hip hop in general, but then Southern hip hop is like Booty Shake. Yeah, that used to be that bullshit. Like why do you think people like deserted it and started? You know what I'm saying?
We can cuss on here, right?
I mean, you've been cussing,
yeah, but I ain't really been. You got cuss words that they'll show on Fox, and then the other kind of cuss words they show on HBO.
Yeah.
So can I say the HBO cuss words?
Yeah, you can say the HBO cuss words.
All right, so look, this is the way I look at it. I was getting pussy before I started making records, right? So I saw what those records was doing for women, like off the rip. So what I was already doing, I saw it led to like even more. You know what I'm saying? So rap, a lot of these rap dudes weren't popping before they started making records. So they was just some street niggas or just some regular dudes.
Yeah.
Wasn't fucking like that, wasn't whatever. That's why you see when a lot of rappers come out, they all hardcore. But when they get a taste of what a record that women like brings, they never go back. They never go back. And so I think when it's an imbalance, right? So you got these tough guys. You got to be tough, because if I show any kind of form of weakness or whatever, it's not acceptable in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. That's why they wait till they pop to do that kind of shit. Me, I was doing it out the gate. So I think that's the difference when you have, for lack of a better way to put it, esteem issues with those kinds of records. I could make them and stand up on them. But if you got esteem issues, you ain't fucking bitches like that. You ain't getting money like that. You can't. So you gotta play the tough guy. I never played the tough guy. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's the difference. So they're not proud. I'm proud when they can't afford to be proud of what I do. Those types of records. To answer your question.
I always tell people that one of my favorite clubs in the history of the world is 559. What was your favorite spot during that period in time?
You know what's crazy? I was in college at the time that Excess was popping. The whole Lil Jon, Cersei, I was gone.
Yeah.
And so, but when I would come, 559. Let me say that. And Sharon's. That was before that.
Yeah.
But those two clubs right there, when you went in there, you didn't even know what was going on as far as like now we look back on and say that was a golden age, a golden era of what was, but it felt like that when you were in there. Like when you went in there, like, hey man, let's go to 559. Like you said that shit like, let's go to 559. Like I don't say that when I talk about going out nowhere. Here now, because it was just a good time to be had without all the extra shit that ain't got nothing to do with the good time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so those are the things that I miss about this market. And it wasn't just those clubs. It was just in general. Now that's why you got a lot of like sports bars and shit, like the U-Bar and shit. You can go there and there ain't no pretenses and shit. You just go in there, ain't no cover. Well, it used to not be no cover charge.
Right. Now they gonna hit you.
You ain't got all the flossing shit is what I'm saying. You go in there, you get fucked up. The DJ playing, he slum as hell. And you just party, and I don't even go over there no more because it's too. I go over there every once in a while, but I'm just saying that vibe existed around the city back then, and it doesn't anymore because enough of y'all didn't leave when y'all came, so y'all.
You want to blame it on us?
No, it's not a blame. It's just the truth. The promoters, like a lot of it is what it is. The nightlife here is just different than what it was.
I think that's the case everywhere because I've partied all over the world, and it ain't the same, man. It ain't the same at all. Like the T-shirt said it's a T-shirt. I forgot who made it. The bottle service killed New York nightlife. Bottle service killed everywhere.
Yeah.
To me, Atlanta nightlife died probably in 2004.
Sound like that's around the same time them 3-letter boys started coming around.
To me,
hey, they come like
hilarious. But we getting off track a little bit. So man, how did you go from being a solo artist and producing to discovering talent?
I just tell people that it was every progression in my career was just that. It was just a natural progression. Like when I was DJing, it was just a natural progression. Most DJs, the tracks that they wanted when they become producers, the tracks ain't nothing but the records that they were playing or grew up listening to. It's just a mix, doing a mix in a machine. And so I went from DJing to producing, and like to go back to the Shy D thing, like I wrote when I started producing for Shy D, I was writing a lot for Shy D, and which I was messing around with making records or whatever, and I got my record deal just off a record that I did while I was in college. The Drop Like This record.
Right.
And so that led to my record deal, at which I never planned on being a rapper or an artist per se, you know what I'm saying? But the check, that $20,000 was there. I had to take that. And so that first album turned into 3 more. And the progression from that into a label was that, I just, when I do music, I want people to hear it. And I just felt like the people who were responsible for getting my music heard weren't doing a very good job of it. And so I've always been a hands-on. I'll get out here and pass out flyers. I'll stay up later than you. I'll do whatever it takes. And on my last album, I had put in so much work before it was even time for them to get involved that it was like I don't really even need y'all no more. You know what I'm saying? And simultaneously, the bass music era was kind of coming to an end, and so I had to figure out a way because I just all I've ever known was music. So it was like, what can I do to flip this up and to continue to make music? And so that's when I put the Yin Yang Twins out.
Man, it's like I got a Yin Yang Twin memory, man. I hope you remember this. Fort Valley State. I went to Fort Valley State. And we used to do this thing in the cafeteria.
Oh shit! Hey, was it the first one? We just found the tape. Somebody taped that. Y'all had a TV show, right?
We had a TV show too there. You know what I'm saying? But like we used to do this thing in the cafeteria called Jamming in the Caf, and we used to book acts. You know what I'm saying? Up and coming.
That was the first show they did.
That was the first show they did.
Yes, we just found the tape. My brother had because they gave us a copy of a VHS tape. Shirley Ellis, right?
Shirley Ellis,
yeah. That was the very first show that they did.
Wow.
Out. Yeah.
I remember because we heard about Ying Yang Twins. This group named Ying Yang Twins. DJ Smurf's new artists want to come down. We was like, shit, all right, cool. They want to. And I remember like they came down there and did the Whistle While You Twerk with the original Disney sample on it.
Hey,
I remember folks half the cafeteria was like, this shit, all right.
They would look at on the tape. They would look like, man, fuck out of here.
They
weren't even looking up. They were like, they were reading and shit. They were doing schoolwork while that shit was going on. That's how bad it was.
But the credit that song blew up, and then niggas want to be like, "Hey man, bring them back, bro." You know what I'm saying? Bring them back.
Yeah. You know what was crazy because they interviewed me on that tape, and like I'm a happy person now, and I always remember myself being as such, but I would with no jokes, I was fucking focused. Like I wasn't smiling. I was dead. Like I looked at myself like, God damn, like I must have had the house riding on this shit. Cause that's how I was looking. And even when they were performing, you could see me off like to the back behind the DJ.
He was like Joe Jackson.
Exactly.
And get that goddamn note.
Right. And that was funny because we just found that.
I gotta see that. I might be on the tape, then.
You might be.
I gotta go, man. I gotta see this tape, bro.
Yeah, man. So that was dog. I fried some chicken and put it in some sandwich bags, and that's what we ate that trip down there with a loaf of bread, dog. I remember all that shit. Yeah,
man. Then it's like I remember, and it happened so fast because like 1 minute y'all was in the cafeteria at Fort Valley, and then like. I think y'all ended up doing birthday bash that same year.
Man, we went hard. From that day to that summer, we went fucking hard, dog. Because from that day, that might have been at the very top of 2000.
Yeah, it was like 2000. It was like 2000.
It had to be January of 2000 because between that time and the summer of that year, we had. The record blew up. We did the Universal deal. And the sample, all that shit happened by that summer. And so that's in that 6-month period. Starting with that trip. That's where it all started. And all that happened in 6 months.
During this period, did you ever think to copyright the word twerk?
Obviously, no. You know why? Because we didn't lay claim to the word. Right. Because we didn't create the word. That they were Kane and D-Rock was so into that fucking No Limit stuff.
Yeah.
And into Cash Money at the time that I wasn't even listening to that shit. I was still fighting the fact that Booty Shake wasn't popping no more.
Right.
But they were young. They was like 18, 19 years old. So they had them CD books?
Yeah.
And they had CD books with every Cash Money, No Limit, all that shit. And their favorite artist on Cash Money was BG. Yeah. So that goes to show you this was before even 400 Degrees had popped.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the word twerk, they were familiar with it just from listening to that music coming from down through there. But the word twerk was not synonymous with dancing.
Nah, not at all.
And I think that's where we come in because when we made Whistle While You Twerk, we specifically said twerking is dancing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So having said that, like, we weren't, and even to this day, man, I don't know, I can't say it, I wouldn't do it now in 2015, but because it wasn't ours to do like that. It's just like John coined crunk, but Crunk wasn't really his.
Right.
That was just some Atlanta shit.
Hey, you know it's some other persuasion that's out there that's gonna copyright all that stuff. You know, so we might as well do it.
But we smarter now. So that's why I said I can't say if it happened in 2015.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Right. That's just like, why didn't we copyright Wobble? That wasn't our word. Like everybody, hell, it was already a song, Wobble Wobble before. But now, Wobble means that fucking line dance. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen T-shirts. I've seen all kind of shit with that around the dance or the song that we did.
And we got to, shoot this out there in case y'all don't know. The man that you're listening to right now, Mr. ColliPark, a.k.a. DJ Smurf, is also the man behind that dance that y'all do at every...
the song? I can't explain
the song. Not the dance. The song that gets played at every family reunion, birthday, nightclub. Has it made it to bar mitzvahs yet? Shit.
Probably.
You got to, but you got to clarify with them line dances. Them motherfuckers will get on the bus and come get you. Like, if you say you created a line dance that you didn't, they take that shit to heart. Yeah.
And I'm one of them people that if they start line dancing at a party, I know it's time for me to go.
Right.
This ain't my type of party.
So it's like we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna bring it up later, but since you brought it up, man, it's like that song was on VIC's album. You know what I'm saying? The guy that made Get Silly. Mm-hmm. When did that album come out, man?
Oh wait.
Wobble blew. I heard Wobble in the club for the first time. 2011, maybe 12. Yeah, and I was just 12. Like, because I ain't gonna lie, like I didn't listen to the VIC album, so it's like
it was actually a good album. You know what I'm saying? So every album I ever been a part of, for the most part, except that last Ying album.
But I was like, what is this song? And it's like, then I find out who it is. We're like, all right, Vic, he got some new music out.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold up, man, this is on the old one, bro. Like,
we shot a video and everything.
Y'all did shoot a video for it. It looked like the Cab Calloway type thing.
Right.
That shit bombed.
So how did it, and we'll get back to the whole Ying Yang trajectory, but most songs, nowadays, you got a very short shelf life. What took it so long to pop, and how did it eventually blow up?
Tony Neal with the Core DJs called me. It was either 2011, 2012, whatever, with the same shit. He called me like he was at a corporate party. Like, yo, this song right here need to be VIC next single. I'm like, what song? He said, the Wobble, nigga, I'm up here. He was doing a coke party or some shit. Yeah. I said, nigga, we put that record out 3 years ago. Hey, you talking about? Like, I'm mad. Like, yo, we did the shit. Y'all didn't fuck with it. But he was the first one to call me because he was up in the Midwest and saw it before I even knew. He was like, nigga, go on YouTube. And I went on YouTube, and whatever was up there at the time, I had no clue that they were up there. And it had become a line dance. And that was the beginning of me knowing. And then from then on, it never stopped. It's still going. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, about 3 million now? So, and when I tell you it bombed, but to the white people at Warner Brothers at the time, they had like the worst staff ever. And this not Warner Brothers, like for real, because it was like a ghost town. It was like The Walking Dead when you went in their offices and shit. Shit that used to be there. Warner Brothers was fucked up. Hell, Wiz Khalifa was over there at the time. Yeah. They was trying to get me to work with him. I was like, nah. I was so hot at the time. I was like, nah. He had short hair back then. But the staff was just bad. Whoever the powers that be truly obviously didn't believe in what was going on over there at the time. But when we turned that album in and they listened to it, all them white people loved Wobble. Like, I gotta give, because we all liked it, but we wasn't gonna come, not have to get silly. Like, we had the Soulja Boy sound shit going. So we were gonna put out another record like that. Man, in that meeting, all them white folks like, that's the record right there. And so it's not like we didn't believe in it, but we saw that they believed in it for whatever that was worth at the time. But we went with it. So whatever little push that they gave it at the time, because see what happened was with Get Silly, I put my own money up to jumpstart Get Silly. Like, but I said once Get Silly blew, I was like, we done proved ourselves. So VIC technically wasn't signed to me. I executive produced it. So I said, I'm not finna do this shit again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm glad I recouped my money back from the first time. But with Wobble, I didn't do that. And so it came out. And I'm not saying that's the only reason why it didn't work. I think it was just too much of a departure for his fan base at the time. Because, you know, we sold VIC like he was Soulja Boy age, but VIC was a grown-ass man running around behind us. I look at the Soulja Girl video, and he walking through the mall with Soulja Boy and shit. I'm just like, wow, we really did that shit. But it worked. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It worked. So I just think that the Wobble was too much of a departure from what we were selling at the time.
He could probably still do shows up there.
He's still doing shows.
He got to be still doing shows.
They don't even know who the artist is. I was just laughing with somebody about this the other night. We said they just called the guy who does the Wobble. We find out we don't even need to know the name. Whoever does the Wobble, we need him here at this club this weekend. And I know for a fact that's how a lot of dates for him come about. Because they don't even care who does the record. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But back to Ying Yang. So Whistle While You Twerk came. I remember when I first heard it too, and then it just popped kind of, well, obviously I was putting in the groundwork, but it just kind of popped out of nowhere. And I knew then, like when I started hearing it in Cali, I was like, oh, this record is...
You know what's crazy? It jumped over the whole country and landed in Cali, and I think those y'all had like some underground dance shit going on out there. That
still do, yeah.
Yeah, they really embraced that record out there, yeah. So you could look at our sound scan, and it would be the Southeast, and it jump over the whole country, and LA was selling hella records of Whistle While You Twerk.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing. So obviously, D-Rock had made a couple records and been on a couple records before that.
Bankhead Bounce.
Yeah, exactly. And they was young as hell.
Yep.
Then too, but because obviously you had seen him around or whatever, but
D-Rock was signed to the same label I was on. That's how we met.
Okay,
he was on Ichiban and I was on Ichiban.
And what about Kane?
Kane was writing with D-Rock.
Okay, gotcha.
So they went to high school together.
Yeah.
Southside.
Was it? Yeah.
So we didn't know what they looked like. We didn't know that they were disabled. We didn't know none of that. So did you think that was going to be a hindrance to them blowing up, or was y'all just going to push the line on it?
That's why I hate when like in the beginning you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Especially back then, man, we didn't know no fucking deal was coming around the corner with this shit. So honestly, when people, it's funny, I laugh when people ask me that question because I truly didn't care about that. That never... They were so dope on wax together that I wasn't thinking about videos and getting in front of people and radio and all that. That was not on my mind when I recorded Whistle While You Twerk with them boys. And so it didn't hit me until the record started popping. You know what I'm saying? And people knew of the record, and just like you didn't know. So we would be going out to do shows, and I would always walk behind. And I would hear in the crowd people seeing it for the first, and that shit used to fuck me. That shit used to almost have me in tears, dog. Like for real, because this was real life. Like you could laugh at it or whatever, but at the time, like we were one record in. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was prepared, and I got to give them boys like them some of the strongest. Dudes, the shit that I've seen them do and come through just from life into the music that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I swear, before I leave this earth, I want to be a part of telling their story. It's one of the most incredible life stories, even before you get to music. But it's one of the most incredible life stories, and it's definitely one of the most incredible music stories that you ever gonna hear.
That's like you're getting back in the studio with them pretty soon, eh?
Yeah, we in there, but we'll go back to that. But yeah, so it's funny because I would even close the deals and they wouldn't even know what was going. Like the companies wouldn't even know because I was selling them on the music.
Yeah,
and so they were like, "Well, nobody wants to sign shit without we got to meet these guys." And then but by then it was too late. That was just a formality. So all the record deals. Were pretty much done off the music, but their personalities were so big, it outshined. Even to this day, most people don't even know that about them. Yeah, unless they're reading it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, ain't nobody ever questioned DJ Paul, so It's about the music at the end of the day.
They got a DJ Paul story too. That shit was funny.
I'm sure because he is a stone cold nut.
Yeah, he a nut, and they some nuts. So that whole shit, we'll put that in the movie.
But yeah, I mean, them dudes, y'all had a kind of a chemistry that just y'all produced hit after hit after hit after hit. What was that zone like, man? Like it was like every year y'all just had like, joints.
It was just talent, man. It was just talent. That's because I didn't know. I can never recall stressing in the studio for a hit with them. Never. Now I recall after we got the hit, we had to go out there and work it. That's where the stress always came in for us because the type of music that we were doing wasn't quote unquote popular at the time. So even after Whistle While You Twerk, everybody thought it was some one hit wonder shit. So we had to go. I remember that being even probably more scary for me than the I record was more scary for me than the Whistle While You Twerk because it was coming back after that seemingly one hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With the same type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And we had asked to be released just like I left college.
Right.
I demanded Universal to release us if they didn't know what to do with us. And they released us. It was a mutual, respect thing. And then they let us go having heard I. They didn't believe in it. And so my whole thing was we got to make this work. And that's when we left Universal and did that independently.
Dope, man. So it's like we kind of like sped past it earlier in the conversation, but obviously you're also the man that's behind the success of Soulja Boy,
right?
A dude that pretty much kind of like revolutionized, how folks use the internet to promote and make music,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
He was the first artist that blew up off the internet,
right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you saw that and you got it, what made you want to get involved with that? I mean, because for the most part, it seems like you're a dude that's, kind of like, I'm about the music, and we're going to do this shit this way. Here we got, this teenager on the goddamn computer somewhere.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, the respect that I had for Jimmy Iovine when I did the deal over at Interscope was, to me, that was like the biggest accomplishment that I could achieve, a partnership with Jimmy at Interscope, just based off the shit that he had done prior to that with Dre and he had 50, that whole shit, the Black Eyed Peas. He had partnerships with, when I got there was Pharrell, Swiss was over there, Timbaland was over there. That was my company, but nobody was putting out music at the time. You know what I'm saying? So it was a perfect time for me to come over, but the conversations that I would have with Jimmy about producers with labels is what made me change the way I looked at my label versus me as a producer. That's why I stopped producing as much. When I started the label thing, I pretty much just went, okay, it's hard to do both.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and I still haven't recovered from that, like for real, from that transition. That's how hard, and the results showed, because it took 2 years before I was in my deal, like a year and a half before Soulja came out. And I went so hard on the label side that I didn't look at it as a producer signing an artist. I looked at it as my label want to do business with this kid. And so, and what was shocking to me is that after he popped, then I started hearing about other people who actually knew about him before I did, but didn't take it serious. I'm talking about other labels that he was on their radar, but they thought it was a joke. Honestly, when it was showed to me, it looked, and I gathered that it was he was like a kid doing cover songs of other people's shit. Yeah. Because when you look at all the records and stuff, it was like a comedian. It was like sketch. It was almost like sketch comedy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But I think it's easy to look at it now in hindsight, because that's how you look at it now. But back then,
well, no, that's how, when I first found him, I took it like that. But when I started digging into it, and I saw the fan base of it, I saw them it was the little girls that were on him, and the following that he had on MySpace, and I actually started, like, some of the songs on there were genius to me. Like, I tell everybody, I call everybody in my office when I heard "Y'all Bitch Y'all" for the first time. like Like all the dancing shit was cool. Like I hated Bapes. I got me some Bathing Apes. I hated that song. But when I heard the original version of Ya Bitch Ya, I was like, this is fucking sheer genius right here. I don't give a damn what you can call it, what kind of music you want to call it. It was crude. It was at its rawest form. It was a kid in his bedroom going the fuck in. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I knew, honestly, y'all let me know that he was special. Because that was outside the realm of the copy shit that he was doing. Like all the knockoff, the dancing and all that shit. When I heard that Ya Bitch Ya record, I was like, yo, it's something special here. You know what I'm saying? I knew if nothing else, I knew he was a star.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what made me take it serious.
Like, talk about, that time where it's like, at the end of the day, you're dealing with a kid. And you kind of have to handle things differently. You know what I'm saying? I remember, like, I was writing for XXL at the time, and I was doing this story about, like, cigars and hip-hop culture. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I know you like cigars, man. I need to interview you for the story. And you hit me back like, shit, man, I can't do no cigar stories. I'm standing next to Soulja Boy all the time now, dog. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was twofold, man. Because he was so young, I wanted him to have the Will Smith shit going on, and I didn't want to come off like too old.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because the cigar shit was like the yin yang type stuff that I was doing. So I still wanted the appearance of like a boss in the Soulja Boy whole thing, but I didn't want to come off like an old man, like the old nigga, the old uncle, like, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that wasn't gonna fly. Yeah, with Soulja, and and we teed him up to be. If I've ever seen anybody with the world in the palm of their hands, he was it. He was it.
Were you disappointed when he started going towards
you can answer that
hood route?
you come on, man.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you had a vision for the trajectory.
It wasn't
of his
just
career.
me. It was so many people in high places in this industry that were disappointed in him, and I wouldn't know that until I was run into him one by one, and it's almost like they took it personal, like, damn, because he represented us, and it was something good. It was something clean. Steph Johnson, who was over at Interscope, he's retired now. He told me he had never seen anything like Soulja where families could come out and enjoy hip hop since Hammer. And to me, that's just like we were talking about people trying to laugh off the bass music. I don't give a damn who you was. When Hammer was popping,
damn right.
Hammer, we was fucking with Hammer.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? You don't do what he did with people not fucking with you.
Right.
So no one in hip hop has done to this day what Hammer did.
Okay.
Period.
Right. And so for me, that was like a huge, because he worked with Hammer. Not only was he around in the business back then, he worked with Hammer. So that was like one of the biggest compliments that I could receive for one of my acts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he got it, and he was over the whole shit. So I was like, yo, the sky is the fucking limit. You know what I'm saying? He let us do it the way he truly put the label on our back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he let us do it the way we wanted to do it. That's how the Turn My Swag On came. Because if you remember, that type of record for him sounded nothing like the other record that he had done. So we just teed him up, dog. Like even the progression from the dance shit into the Turn My Swag On, it was a little leap. That's when he started flashing the money and all that kind of stuff. But we all knew that he had to do something to come out of that kiddie shit. You know what I'm saying? Because when we came back on the second album, we came with Birdwalk, because it was like none of us thought Birdwalk was a smash.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, he has this huge fan base built off of that. So we kind of didn't have a choice other than to put that out. And if you go back and look at that video was hard as hell. The bird for a dance video, like we was on the football field, had all that shit going on. So the video, but once we saw it wasn't going the way it was supposed to go, that we needed it to go, I put so much faith in the Soulja, and from him coming to me, I took it to Interscope. He was on me about that turn my swag on shit off out the gate before Bird Walk. But I told him I can't come back. We can't come back with that. And I tell anybody, my hindsight was in front of me because you couldn't have paid me to put that Turn My Swag on for the first single of his second album. They would have shitted on him. The commercial audience that he garnered, that's where artists get it fucked up. Once you garner commercial success, you can't go back to that hood shit because you flop, right? So once we gave the public what they thought they wanted with that dance shit, they didn't want it. And they knew they didn't want it because they didn't go buy it. So we had already shot the Turn My Swag on. It was already shot and teed up to be some street shit. But his core fan base was on it so hard, we just moved that right into the... We slipped Birdwalk out the back door and moved Turn My Swag, and it wound up going like double platinum.
Yeah, I remember that record. I remember when I heard the record. I was with Dow and them in Phoenix for All Star, and I was just like, "Oh, this record is dope!" Like I was like, "This shit hard!" Like
even when people would ask me about that record, it was so different for me coming from him. I didn't understand it. Coming from him. Yeah. So I couldn't call it dope because it was coming from him. I couldn't call it dope, but I definitely wouldn't call it whack. I just said this is over my head. That's like somebody bringing me Young Thug before he popped.
Right.
I know it's something to it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
That's how I was first time somebody asked me like, "Hey man, you need to interview Young Thug."
I still don't get it, but it's neither here nor there. What was the moment where you was like that you saw or experienced where he was like, all right, he's too far gone to bring him back?
When he started fucking with Lighty. Because Lighty and them only cared about money. And I don't think I've ever said that. And me and Lighty weren't on good terms when he left us. So, I'm not a hypocrite. And honestly, that was one of the times in my life as a man where I was really torn internally because I never felt like that about somebody at the time that they died. You know what I'm saying? And so I won't speak past that. But that whole camp just was so... I guess it was good if you were with them. But they came into a house that was already built and just turned it into something else. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a fight for us. That's meaning me and my crew as hard as I can. But at the moment that I realize you don't give a fuck, like I can't make somebody be down with me or I can't make somebody fuck with me in the way that I fuck with them. And at the point that I realized that, I just let it go. You know what I'm saying? So in that time frame right there, and he was becoming a man simultaneously, and so and then our relationship was built from success, so, meaning we didn't have a relationship before we had success.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's all he saw at the end of the day with me. You know what I'm saying? And so he was like, because he was so young, we had to we couldn't just treat him like some nigga we signed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And so, but you couldn't tell him that at the end of the day because it was too much money involved. It was too much money involved. And when Light and them came involved, I guess he felt like he needed that extra thing that you couldn't get no bigger than what we had already gotten there. And Lighty knew that I knew what was going on. How they looked at it like a big fat Thanksgiving turkey. That's how they looked at Soulja. And so that's what happened. And that's when I knew that I don't ever want to be in business with somebody who all they do this shit for is money. I never, or if I do, I will deal with them like that. Out the gate. But once we rolling a certain kind of way, if it turns into that, then
that's deep, bro.
Yeah.
Hurricane Chris, man, switching gears a little bit. Another kid that was popping in his region, and you took him and blew him up everywhere. And the funny thing is, I always tell people this because I think when Chris blew up, I was working at a magazine up in New York, and I had seen him before. I was like, no, this dude can actually rap. Like, y'all got it twisted. Like, this little dude is raw. Like, don't let the A-Bay fool you.
You
like,
know what's crazy? It's funny because, like, you take an artist like Chris, who's dope, lyricist, whatever, and it's funny. I take what you just said back to our collective decision, me and Brian Leach over at Polo Grounds, with the beads. No, because it all goes together, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, as grown men, we know how we felt about the beads, but we got a kid coming out of Shreveport, Louisiana, with a song called "A Baby." So, what are we marketing here? You know what I'm saying? And it ain't like we put the beads on him. He had the beads on him when we found him. But I'm saying, so it's not like we dressed him up and said, you go out there and sell records. So it was, and I think in the long run, because I stopped working with him too early for me to get out of him what I got out of Soulja Boy.
Right.
Because me and Leach went through some things, and so I said, you know what? I didn't sign Hurricane to my Interscope deal because I had issues at the time. So I took him over to Polo Grounds, and I just executive produced it, oversaw the project, and within all that, me and Leach kind of fell out, and Brian Leach, but we cool now, and so I kind of got out of that project right after A Baby, and so I wasn't really a part of, like, he put a record out called The Hand Clap after A Baby. Then the record that I did that I think I probably would have put out second was the Players Rock record, where he was actually spitting.
Yeah.
And because that's what I knew. Matter of fact, that's the first record that I had him record after I signed him. That was like almost like a homework assignment. I sent him that beat, like, yo, put that shit down. He sent that Players Rock shit back. I was like, oh,
The Players Rock was jamming.
Hurricane, go live entertainment. Polo grind, ColliPark, you a fool for this one, baby. That right. Hey, see, it's how players rock. If I don't like the way that she acting, then I'ma tell her bye. How you gon' play a player, girl? You know how players rock. Game recognized game, and I've been running game a lot. Never get caught in my lap. Touch my heart and hope to die. Players rock. I don't like the way that she acting, I tell her bye. How you gon' play a player, girl? You know how players rock. Game recognized game, and I've been running game a lot. Never get caught in my lap. Cross my heart and hope to die. I play a rock.
Yo, I don't think y'all really understand what's going on right now. It's Hurricane and ColliPark.
Everything was cool. We was feeling each other. Chilling in the jacuzzi, just water, no bubbles. You know me, I keep it gutter. Till you stutter, then she got to asking me questions like she was undercover. Like who was that little chick that I let ride up in my ride? I'm a pimp, so it ain't nothing for me to think of a lie. But I'd rather keep it real and tell her just how I feel. Look at here, if you see me with another chick, then it's just what it is. You ain't my main thing, I just out the frame. Baby, I'm Hurricane. You gotta stay in your lane. Stick to the script of a pimp and follow my gutter rules. And if you feel like you wanna leave, then do what you do. Baby, you think I'ma cry just because I lost you? Every time I lose one, I bounce back with two. How you think I got you? Somebody got laid out. I'm a pimp, I pimp a chicken until she get played out. Say this, I play this right. Say this, I play this right. Say this, I play this right.
And that record to this day, you know what I'm saying? And so that's, to me, Hurricane is the one that got away because he could have been huge from a lyrical stance.
Yeah.
He could have still been relevant off of talent and not the gimmick.
He seems to, like, every couple years come back with some kind of record, though.
Yeah, I mean, when you make key bad moves, you know how that shit go.
Yeah.
When you make bad moves, when it's your time, it's your time. And sometimes when you make moves that affect the now, and you can't see it, it's hard to get that back. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of artists are like that. You know, the talent's still there. Everything is still there, but the time ain't there.
Yeah.
No more.
And you got to stick around long enough for the ball to come back to you.
Yeah, and that's when it comes time. That's why the term reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
You sometimes you got to go back in the lab and redo the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. Going back to Yin Yang, you made a song, produced a song for them, the Whisper song that really damn near you never went nowhere, but it brought back a different sound for you that we also heard a derivative of that on the Miss New Booty, heard a little bit of that on David Banner Play.
Right.
What in the hell was going on in the studio? Or in them dudes' minds for them to create that song?
That song got a couple of parts of the story. Number one,
clearly.
Number one, we was in fucking Miami at the Shore Club with Steve Gottlieb, who owned TVT at the time.
Okay.
Sitting in the Shore Club, and this record comes on in the bar at the Shore Club, in the little bar club they got down there. I said, "What the fuck is that?" It's "Drop It Like It's Hot" by Snoop Dogg. Now, Snoop had just did a deal with TVT with the Eastside and raped them. Like everybody knew that was signed on TVT. We knew Snoop Dogg because he had his deal, his solo deal with somewhere else. Snoop Dogg raped TVT. So this was the funniest shit. So I look at Steve. I say, "Yo, is that y'all song? Is that the one Snoop gave y'all?"
He was like,
he
"Fuck
he
you."
dropped his head. Right. So he dropped his head and he looked up at me and was like, but the record was so good, I couldn't stop rubbing the shit in. I was like, "Yo, this shit is dope." So the DJ played that shit like 2 times back to back. And so that beat was so dope to me. I went back and started fucking around with shit. And I told Pharrell, he probably wouldn't even remember to this day because we was at Jimmy's house for some fundraiser Jimmy was having for his daughter. And I said, if I ever run into Pharrell, I'm going to give him props for that beat coming from me because it was inspired by that beat.
Yeah.
So I was at the crib working on like some shit that sounded like that. Mm-hmm. And the way I would make beats, I would do a beat, I would start a beat, I might leave that shit up for 2-3 days trying to come back to it or whatever. But this particular beat, I had it, and every time I tried to put something more than what y'all heard, which was them hi-hats, them beatbox hi-hats on top of that 808 in the snap, it would take away from it. So I just had that beat. But the shit was funky now, so I burned that shit on the CD because I would ride around listening to beats I was working on. So fast forward, Roy Jones did a video for Yin Yang Twins called What's Happening, where we had Trick Daddy. Roy Jones made an appearance in that video.
Y'all don't know Roy Jones used to rap. You might have forgot about that.
Right, so it's all on time. It's all on time.
Y'all must have forgot.
Y'all must have forgot. Right. So Roy Jones did an appearance, and our payback for that was to do a track for Magic, who was signed.
I remember Magic, No Limit, and then
R.I.P.
Body
Magic.
Head.
He died about 2 years ago. But Magic was signed to Roy Jones. Bodyhead Entertainment. Damn sure was. So Roy was on his way to Atlanta to do the track with Yin Yang. And it was raining like a motherfucker outside. So they was like running hella late. So back then, Yin Yang Twins was hot. And so we were in between the Me and My Brother album and what became the USA album. So they would get restless. It was hard to make them sit in a fucking studio with no work to do. So I had that beat on a CD in my truck. And we had already talked about the beat in New York, just outside of a restaurant. And then that's when they came up with the concept of well, I came up with the whisper and the concept. But we used to joke like that.
Yeah.
So Kane came with, "What do you see in my dick?" So we was just laughing and all that shit. So while we waiting on Roy Jones and them, I said I got that beat out in the car. So I went and got the CD, and they loaded the CD into the Pro Tools. And while we waiting on Roy Jones, they go in and write the song. And so it was like something to do, but the shit was just funny as fuck, right? So we never intended on putting this record like out. It probably would have made the album like a skit,
but it wouldn't have been a single.
Hell no. So this dude that I was rolling with at the time leaked the record, right? And the DJ who we leaked the shit to cleaned that shit up and put that shit on the radio in Columbus, Georgia, and that was it. And I remember taking that shit to a club in fucking Griffin, Georgia, and I had never heard that shit out. And this was before it was even mixed final. And when that beat fucking hit them speakers. Now I'm a true. When the first time you hear your shit in the club, you know. When I heard Drop Like This, my first record in the club for the first time, I knew. I was in Playboy Palace up on Godby Road. When I heard Whistle While You Twerk for the first time out, I knew. When I heard that doom 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 doom, you couldn't even understand what they were saying because it wasn't mixed. I said, "Oh shit!" And between those two instances, the record started getting out there, and I remember the guys at TVT not knowing what the fuck to do with it. And then over the course of like the Christmas break or whatever break it was, the record started moving underground on its own. And then they went to radio, and then they came back like, "Yeah, we always knew." And I like, whatever, man. So, but the record was so dope, and we were always kind of frustrated because John had taken the crunk thing and claimed it.
Right.
And Yin Yang always had a problem with that because they were crunk before it was coined. Crunk.
Yeah.
Get Low was the song that
I mean, Get Low, Salt Shaker, like it was.
But even before Salt Shaker, Get Low was the song that put John outside of that hood shit. And so we all, I ain't gonna say we all felt the kind of way because we didn't jump up on table saying that like that part of that sound, Yin Yang, what we started was a big part of that. Hell, they thought when they would go out together, they thought Yin Yang was the East Side Boys. And so
that's crazy. Yeah.
So we looked at it like we got to do something outside of crunk music to make our own.
Right.
And so once we came with that, for me personally, my whole thing was to dead crunk. It was to dead crunk, like move as far away from that shit into something that we could, claim.
A different kind of dead crunk.
That's the first right,
right, exactly.
Right. I never looked at it like that. So right. That's the first time, and that's why we spent more money on that video with Lil X. We never had a video where we spent money on. I told the motherfuckers at TVT, I ain't got no plan B. Lil X shooting this fucking video. And when I saw the finished product of that video, I knew my life was finna change. That's when I started smoking cigars. Lil X gave me my first cigar. At the end, when the video wrapped, he passed out cigars. And when that video wrapped, that cigar that he gave me is the cigar that changed everything for me. Yeah.
Man, that song was huge.
Yeah.
Like, and you're right. It was a completely different look for them. It was a different look for you. And it like we said, David Benner play, huge record, did stuff with Bubba Sparks. Were you fully back in producer mode once you hit that one?
Because I knew me and Yin Yang was done internally. That's when I started I produced Trap Star for Jeezy. Yeah. I did a bunch of stuff for BG after he left Cash Money. I was just everywhere, man, because I knew this was it. Like I knew we had one more album together contractually, but I knew it was over. Before then, I wouldn't really produce for nobody else. And by choice, I really wouldn't produce for a bunch of people. And so after that, I was like, man, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? I got to get me, and that's when I started branding ColliPark.
So I remember I remember when that switch happened. You know what I'm saying? I was like, ColliPark.
I went hard. I went hard.
Who was the ColliPark person, bro?
They gave me a year to get my shit together, and that's all it took.
Yeah.
And you guys are back working together again. I saw that y'all dropped a video some kind of video last with what is it?
With the girl?
Yeah, with the girl. What is it?
So what it is, I'm doing like the electronic twerk music now.
Right.
And so it's me, this kid called Adam Pushers out of Denver, and this kid named DJ Wavy out of New York. It's a collaborative effort where we featured Yin Yang. It's a record I already did on them like a year ago, and we kind of redid it. It was really supposed to be a remix, but it came out so dope that this company called the EDM Network that I partnered up with on the release, they went crazy when they heard it. So they were like, "Yo, we wanna put this out with you," as opposed to you just put it up on the way the electronic shit works. You just put the shit up on blogs and SoundCloud,
right?
And that's all. But when they heard it, they wanted to partner up on the record and like invest in it. And so what you saw was a video done by Lexi Pantera, who's like the face of commercial twerk right now.
That's crazy. That's a term, not commercial twerk.
Yeah, yeah, because it ain't ours no more. It ain't ours. Nah. She is literally turned.
Miley Cyrus took that shit.
It started with that. Yeah. It started with that, but she literally has taken the ratchet out of twerking, and she actually has DVDs about to go into Walmart. She has a brand called Twerk Out. She's like a celebrity twerk trainer out of so she don't even fuck with everybody. Like, so she only do like big songs. She did the Lean On by Diplo, which I told you she got like 21 million views on that. She did with not Wiz Khalifa, Fetty Wap, the 679, whatever the name of that song is, and she did The Weeknd. So these are the types of songs that she does. But how you gonna be a twerker and not fuck with Yin Yang Twins?
Right.
So the guys at EDM Network got in touch with her and sent her the record, and it just so happened she was a fan, and so she did the twerk freestyle. She calls them twerk freestyles to the record that we have together. Now we also have an official anime video coming after that, which that shit gonna be crazy. So yeah.
And the name of it, what is it? Twerk Pop
Bounce?
It's
called Booty Bounce Pop.
Booty Bounce Pop.
Hey, we went straight at them, man, because I think that's what's missing. The lane that we had while it was so fun, like the song was called Shake What Your Mama Gave You. Yeah. Like, bitch, shake your ass. Shake what your mama gave you. That's how we talk.
So we know had it been up to Smurf, wouldn't have been no Whisper song. The name of the song would have been Wait Till You See My Dick.
Right. But I just want to go back to making songs like they calling it twerk music because the tempo and all that stuff, but it's really not. Like, you can't really shake your ass to the music that's out now.
Nah, you're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to go. I'm able to make that kind of music in the electronic lane, but I could never do it trying to put it out in the urban world. But it could cross back into the urban world.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? But like I got a song coming with Watch the Duck, a webisode series, and a song where we teamed up and co-executive produced a webisode series together called Who's Hitting It? The shit is hilarious. Like, these are, you can tell by the titles. These are my type of shit. So I got a record with Shaggy called Shake It coming. That's all of these are EDM twerk style records, and so the energy that I want to put in my records, I can do it and not have to dumb it down.
You just gotta create a title for it because you're creating a new genre. You just gotta come up with a title.
I got a title for it, but it's gonna sound.
Don't say it.
Well, it's
till you copyright it. Don't say I have this like trap music blew up. This will probably blow up too. Don't say it till you copyright it.
Right. So I'm working on it, and it'll make sense once the first record pops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You sound kind of crazy trying to talk about it, especially to in the urban world. Like, honestly, man, I felt so far out of love with urban music in the last few years that thank God for dance music, because it got me back excited to do music. And it's funny because since then, the last few months, urban music been pretty good.
Yeah. It's some
ever
joints.
since, I ain't gonna lie, when Future dropped that Dirty Sprite 2, I said, I'm back in. I rode around with that shit for about 3 months straight, dog. Like, for real. Like, that album made me understand some of the other shit better, because they took so much from Future.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew it, but I had stopped listening to Future after the first album. So you forget, like, if you ain't in it. I've been straight doing this dance shit for like a year and a half now. So I ain't really been listening to no black music. And so, but when that Dirty Sprite 2 came out, I was like, shit.
Dog,
I forgot I used to really fuck with Future like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of good music out there. Dude, that Ty Dolla $ign album is crazy.
Now, I haven't. I even like, I ain't gonna lie, I like YG. I like Mustard. I like, but for me, just in general, it's not enough. I can't say it don't exist, but on the mainstream level, enough variety of what makes me want to really get into a lot of this shit.
I agree with that. You gotta search it out.
Yeah,
you gotta find it.
Yeah,
for sure, most definitely. You I was peeping out your Instagram. You got a virtual drum machine joint coming, right?
Damn, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, gotta plug it, man.
Yeah. It's called Basics, and it's a virtual drum machine. I teamed up with a company out of Seattle called Studio Linked, and they found me on Instagram. I would post up little videos of me in the studio, and a mutual follower of both of us saw it and sent it to them, and then they contacted me like, "Yo, man, we big fans." It's funny, all the people who are on, these kids in dance music, like they kids, like 20s. Yeah, they were fans of the Whisper song, Yin Yang, like of that era. Not even really the Soulja Boy shit, right? Of the like the Yin Yang shit, and so they're all fans of the shit that we did, and so it was like, "Yo, we would love to team up with you and do a project together." So we came up with the Basics, and basically it won't, as far as the first version of it will come out in January. And my goal is, because it was very hard for me to transition from hardware, the keyboards, the drum machines, into just doing music on the keyboard. It was a very hard transition. So ultimately, the design, well, the capabilities, not the design, but the capabilities of the Basics will make it easier to transition from the hardware to the software, just by functionality. Like, it's certain little shits that you could do on the drum machine without even thinking twice. It's just too hard to do on the computer if that's not where you learn how to do music.
Gotcha.
These kids learning on that shit, so it's nothing for them. But for us, like, I shouldn't have to do all that shit for simple shit, and I don't want to go into too many details. Yeah. But that's, you get some of my original drum sounds and shit like that into it, so it's going to be dope. I'm actually really excited about it.
No doubt. It seemed like the natural progression for you, the next step would be to be doing these big festivals, man, DJing and
that's
whatnot.
What I'm trying to get to, but we ain't over there like that.
It's two or three of us, but
2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know how many of them it is over there?
Oh, a lot.
So it's that's why, and when I first said I wanted to do it, I was just like, I'm finna run over here and jump on it, because it's just a natural progression, like you say. But when it comes to that DJing shit on the right stuff, it ain't like.
I think once these songs come out,
yeah, because and then I had to realize they done took what we doing. Yeah, and then they done took it and turned it into some shit that they doing. So, like
everything else with black
creation, right? So it took me about a year to say, "Fuck!" I did a record called The Freaknik last summer, and that was just me saying, "Fuck!" Trying to do EDM the way they doing it. I want to put that shit into it. So I had some vocals from Luke from back in the day. I went and dug them shits up, and I just put it. I did it the way I wanted to do it. I hooked up with DJ Spins. And we shot a little video to it, and actually that's how I watched the Duck. They saw the fucking video and said, "Yo, nigga, you doing that booty shake shit? We want to fuck with you." And so that's how we hooked up. I went back to doing the DJ Smurf stuff as opposed to trying to copy what they copied. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I feel a lot better doing it this way now.
No doubt, man. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, man.
Tell them where they can find you on social media and all that good stuff.
Man, I don't even know. Hold on. It's Real Mr. ColliPark on Instagram. Twitter is Real ColliPark. Facebook is DJ Mr. ColliPark. And SoundCloud, I've created my SoundCloud so long ago, I can't remember what the shit is. But you can type in Mr. ColliPark.
It'll pop up for sure, for sure, man. Yeah. We appreciate it. DJ Smurf, a.k.a. Mr. ColliPark. New music coming very soon,
hey,
man.
So let me plug this. Look,
ahead.
I got the Booty Bounce pop out right now.
Yeah.
Like, we really trying to make that by springtime. We trying to make that like the turn down for. I hate to compare it to that, but we trying to make it that song that crosses over where everybody can fuck with it. And then we got the Watch the Duck single that's coming out probably in January. And then I got the Shaggy record that's already done that's coming out probably in the next 2 or 3. So I got like 3 songs that'll be in your face in the next 2 months or so.
For sure. We'll appreciate it. We're about to go into some music from Mr. ColliPark. You're listening to Day One Radio on ABLradio.com.
DJ Wally Sparks.
Shaking they boobies like Congos, man. I'm shaking the city like quakes. The haters blue in the face like Gonzo, cause I'm breaking the cake, so let's bake. I'm taking the game's mine. Yeah, I witness the change, it's my time. Yeah, I'm new to the game, but y'all might wanna say you whack raps, daylight saving time. I can dance, homie, on two-step. Y'all looking at something like a true player. A girl told me that a man that can dance might could possibly get down with the tool in his pants. Now I'm a ladies, let me see it vibrate. And when it's over, you ain't gon' need your bird. Cause I'm a pro, make you bend your back low, then the powder real fast, just like the percolate. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah.
New music. Download the app and stream on ablradio.com.
Run, girl, I'm trying to get your body wet. Work that, let me see your drip sweat. Run, girl, I'm trying to get your body wet. Work that, let me see your drip sweat. Play with me, don't play with me, don't play with me. Play with me, don't play with me. Work them hips, run, girl. Touch on your body like you want some, girl. Work it like your boy just bought you a pearl. I wanna see you run in the middle of the dance floor. Your man ain't broke, what you think your finger made for? And I'ma beat it on up. You get it enough in the mic, get up. Lick it like a peppermint swirl. Work them hips, run, girl. I wanna see your legs shake, take you to the crib, we can jump to the bed break. We can jump to your body ache. Think about that, but right now, girl, master. Pay for your boy, dog. Freaky in the club, stop worrying about the mother. This is me and your world. Work them hips, run, girl, I'm trying to get your body wet. Work that, let me see your drip sweat. Run, girl, I'm trying to get your body wet. Work that, let me see your drip sweat. Don't play with me, don't play with me, don't play with me, don't play with me, don't play with me. Work them hips, run.
ColliPark, Wobble Sparks.
Booty, rockin' everywhere. Booty, rockin' everywhere. Booty, rockin' everywhere.
ColliPark, Wobble Sparks.
Booty, rockin' everywhere. Booty, rockin' everywhere.
ColliPark, Wobble Sparks.
Booty, rockin' everywhere. Booty, rockin' everywhere.
DJ Wally Sparks.
Found you, Miss New Boo. Get it together and bring it back to me. Hit the Players Club for about a month or two. Put his hand on it, then see what it do. Found you, Miss New Boo. Get it together and bring it back to me. Hit the Players Club for about a month or two. Put his hand on it, then see what it do. Get it right, get it tight. Get it right, get it right, get it tight. Get it right, pretty girl, get it right, get it tight. Get it right, get it right, get it tight. Girl, I don't need you, but
you need me. Take it off, let it flop, shake it freely. And I don't tell stories, I let them tell themselves. And you ain't gotta sell, girl, it sell itself like nothing else. Yeah, I'm a country boy, but that big city bottom fill me up with joy. Ain't life grand, live it up, Betty. Here go the whisper song, baby, this is us, ready? Put it on me, enthusiastically. Whatever it is that you do it admirably. And I ain't choose it, that thing chose me. It's complicated and yang all the way in this thing. Go! Booty, rockin' everywhere. Booty, rockin' everywhere. Booty, rockin' everywhere.
DJ Wally Spice.
Smoke by myself, drink by myself, fuck the home by my goddamn self. By my goddamn self. Smoke by myself, drink by myself, fuck the home by my goddamn self. By my goddamn self. Niggas dwell on me, can't hang some tail on me. Got my bitch all at the crib trying to smell on me. Nigga wanna stay around, man, but when I'm sitting on the couch, just keep me saying, cause she grabbing on my crouch now. I already know. Thinking to myself, what the fuck somebody told. Had to been one of the niggas that I showed. Some shit that they never should have seen anyhow. All hell, who the fuck hating on me now? Smoking on my weed, steady drinking on my beer. Hell no, nigga, get the fuck up out of here. Can't hold water, so you can't hold your tongue. Nigga, lip smacking like some true bubble gum. Tell him where I been, what I did, who I'm with. Said he seen me with 2 bitches. That's when I said, I gotta stay the fuck away from Ed. I'm a hoe by myself, drink by myself, fuck the hoe by my goddamn self. For real, by my goddamn self. For real, by my goddamn self. Smoke by myself, drink by myself, fuck the hoe by my goddamn self. For real, by my goddamn self. For real, by my goddamn self. Shawty so tall, she coming out of gold. Dick so big, got caught in her throat. Do it hurt? Yeah! Do it hurt? Hell yeah! 1 nut, 2 nuts, what you get? When you let a nigga lick that click, do you like it? Yeah! Want a nigga to bite it? Hell yeah! From the ceiling to the floor, to the floor. Hold on, won't no more. No more. That bitch better have my dog. Yeah, ColliPark in the house. All right. Yeah, ColliPark in the house. All right. Yeah, ColliPark in the house. All right. Got one beat. Check it out. ColliPark, drop them beats. That'll rock your world. That's right. Got Bun B, Ying Yang in this thing. So
DJ Wally Spice.
come on. Get it, girl. Get it, girl.
WABL. New rules, new music. Download the app or stream on ABL
Back to Radio.
Radio.
Day One Radio again, man. Big shout out to DJ Smurf, aka Mr. ColliPark. He had hella stories, bro. Hella stories, man.
Nah, most definitely, man. That was a good one, bro. I definitely enjoyed that. And we going from the old school to the well, I can't even say old school because he's still doing it.
Yeah.
We going from the classic artists, the legends, to some new cats, Earth Gang out of Atlanta that Nadine caught up with recently around their whole album promo situation, man. So we're about to go into this Mad Fresh 5 and we'll be right back.
Hey, yo, what time is it?
Well, according to my watch, oh shit, it's time for the Mad Fresh 5. Nothing but
New artist.
it's Day One Radio on ABLRadio.com.
Man, fresh.
See, I came here with a dangerous attitude and I stayed here. Had me loose while I bathed here. Scrubbing up your woman's butt.
Yo, what up? It's at Mad Fresh Daily, madfreshdaily.com. Nadine Graham in the building for Day One Radio with Earth Gang.
Earth Gang.
We got Doc and Johnny here, and I really just kind of wanted to talk to y'all about the new project that you guys have coming. First of all, the new name for the project is Insanity. I hadn't heard it before A3C the other day when y'all said it on stage, and I was like, it's called what?
Strays with Rabies. Strays with Rabies, November 6th. Oh, I'm Johnny Venus, 0.5 of Earth Gang. So what's happening with y'all?
Why did y'all go with that name?
This is Doc with Earth Gang. Yeah, I mean, the name kind of just came because we was on a tour while we was thinking of a lot of the concepts for the records, you know what I'm saying? We was actually feeling like strays. Not to mention, you know what I'm saying, we from Atlanta, we've been here our whole lives. We done had a lot of times where we've had to do stuff outside the city, and when you step out for a minute, Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, they'll be, you know what I'm saying, they make their own kind of wave. So when you gotta step out, your wave is yours, you know what I'm saying? So owning our own wave is really what this project is about.
I think just working within the music industry, you kind of see it a lot, where it's like there's one side and then there's the other side. There's a side that's kind of free, on some free to be me type shit, and then it's the other side where it's kind of like, this is the formula. So y'all growing up here, especially within city limits, what was it, do you think, about your background or your upbringing that kind of made you be like, yo, I'm gonna just do me?
That's how Atlanta niggas are.
Yeah, like we the most viral city on earth, bro, and the reason it is because like we really like it's so crazy, bro. Like we really are just a city full of independent spirits, bro. Like in high schools and shit, like middle school, you know what I'm saying, elementary school, even like the schools that's in the city, like the stuff that be going crazy on the internet now, that shit the kids been doing here for the longest. You know what I'm saying? Like we been dancing in crazy circles. You know what I'm saying? We been coming up with like just arbitrary rap tunes. We been, you know what I'm saying, making hilarious like little videos and stuff. It's just now it's just bigger because we got Vine and like Twitter and all this stuff to blow it up faster. But like this stuff like we've been seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's been like the culture here for a long time.
Yeah, it's basically to embrace your inner self, you know what I'm saying, that's being repressed in this society. Like niggas like should be repressed so much in society, you don't even know, you know what I'm saying, because it's like it's small things, subtle things, be quiet when you come in here, don't act this way, you know what I'm saying, just walk this way. It's like, man, actually I'm gonna just do what was put in me, and that's how it's gonna happen.
All right, so individually, I want y'all to speak on your favorite joint from the Rabies project.
My favorite joint now is Punchinella.
Oh man, Punchinella in the shoe. I know hella niggas who lie and never tell the truth. I'm a diamond.
Because the shit is like it's like a decree of like of individuality, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of some of the other records, a lot of introspective records that we have on the project. But Punchinella is kind of like, you know what I'm saying, I'm not ashamed, you know what I'm saying, I'm not ashamed to go through what I go through and then still come out on the other side still swinging, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of fuck with that record.
Yeah, Punchinella live, I love that song. It's definitely, it would be my favorite choice if I had answered the question first. But I'm gonna go ahead and say, Mama Told Me, just because it highlights our lyrical prowess.
Walking around the house searching for alterations to my bullshit. I'm fighting, finding how hard it is to fight the sin. Starting to find the sense when mama used to say, "Child, when you finish, you better light the candle before you part this bitch."
We put bars on that record. We all put bars on that record, man. It was fun to make. And shout out to Ducko, man. Ducko produced that for us. So yeah, that's just a good vibe record.
What is y'all's favorite record to perform?
Machete one of my favorites to perform, just because that shit be going up. Like every time we do that shit, everybody just, it's a good time, you know what I'm saying?
My granddaddy kept machete tucked off in that sofa, so chillin' in the cut, that's just how I grew up. My granddaddy kept machete tucked off in that sofa, so chillin' in the cut, that's just how I grew up.
And y'all can say your
Son North B.
Where you from? New Jersey? New Jersey?
Brooklyn. You know she from the goddamn Big Apple. Jersey. Alright, yo, what's signing off? Yo, it's a Subway system, yo. What's signing off?
What is your handle online, sir?
Earth Gang, at Earth Gang. For Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud. Search Earth Gang. One word. We out.
That was Earth Gang at Earth Gang on every social media, you know what I'm saying, platform, at Madfresh Daily, madfreshdaily.com, Day One Radio, ablradio.com, out.
Yo, shout out to Mr. ColliPark for coming through. Thank y'all for listening. Shout out to DJ Wally Sparks for always providing them dope mixes. And we forgot to thank him for coming through to the anniversary party, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you to everybody that came through Spin for the 2-year anniversary. Shout out to the homie New Face, you know what I'm saying, gave us a a nice, painting.
Where is that thing?
Nadine got it.
Yeah, we need to get that from Nadine. That's sitting up in the house, man. We need to keep that in the studio. But anyway, man, we appreciate y'all listening. Make sure you check with us next week for another dope show. If you missed anything, check the archives on Day One Radio or on iTunes under Day, the #1 radio. We will see you next week.